Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead knew what was up. Throughout history, student movements have been the catalysts for social change, pushing boundaries and demanding justice. And here at Columbia University, activism isn't just a tradition, it's practically woven into the ivy-covered walls. From the fight for civil rights to climate justice, Columbia's students have never been shy about raising their voices. Let's rewind to 1968, a year of global unrest. Vietnam War protests were raging, and Columbia became the epicenter of student dissent. Students occupied buildings demanding an end to university expansion into Harlem and the university's ties to war research. It was a chaotic, messy, and powerful display of resistance that put Columbia on the map of student activism. The fight against the Vietnam War didn't stop there. Throughout the late 60s and early 70s, Columbia's campus was a hotbed of anti-war demonstrations. Teach-ins, marches, and rallies became the norm as students challenged the government's policies and demanded peace. In 1972, Columbia students took on racial discrimination in their own backyard. The university planned to build a gym with separate entrances for Harlem residents and Columbia affiliates, a blatant example of segregation. Students protested, calling it Jim Crow, and ultimately forced the university to abandon the discriminatory plan. Fast forward to 1985, where the fight against apartheid in South Africa took center stage. Columbia students joined the national movement demanding universities divest from companies doing business with the apartheid regime. It was a long and arduous campaign, but their persistence paid off, contributing to the international pressure that ultimately helped dismantle apartheid. In 1996, students bravely confronted the issue of sexual assault on campus. They protested the university's inadequate policies and demanded better support for survivors. Their activism sparked a national conversation about campus sexual assault and led to significant changes in how universities address this critical issue. The debate over the military's "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy brought student activism back to the forefront in 2007. Students protested against allowing the Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC, on campus, arguing that the discriminatory policy contradicted Columbia's values. The movement sparked intense debate and highlighted the ongoing struggle for LGBTQ+ rights. In 2016, climate change took center stage as students demanded Columbia divest from fossil fuels. They staged a sit-in at the president's office, calling for the university to take a stand against the industry driving climate change. The sit-in lasted for weeks, drawing national attention and putting pressure on Columbia to take action. In 2018, Barnard College students joined the fight for climate justice with a historic referendum. They voted overwhelmingly in favor of divesting from companies that deny climate change, sending a powerful message about the urgency of addressing the climate crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic brought new challenges, and Columbia students responded with a tuition strike in 2020. They demanded a reduction in tuition fees, recognizing the financial hardships faced by many students and families. The strike highlighted the issue of rising education costs and the need for accessible education. In the wake of the George Floyd protests in 2020, Columbia students continued the fight for racial justice. They demanded the university address systemic racism on campus and implement concrete changes to support students of color. The movement highlighted the ongoing struggle for racial equality and the need for institutional change. From challenging war and discrimination to demanding climate action and racial justice, Columbia students have consistently been at the forefront of social change. Their activism is a testament to the power of collective action and the unwavering belief in a better future. As we look back at these top 10 moments, let's remember that the fight for justice is an ongoing struggle. It's up to each of us to carry the torch, raise our voices, and continue the legacy of activism that defines Columbia University. Get involved, stay engaged, and let's keep making history together.